What's going on, everyone? Togavor here, and here we are, NPL Season 6, Week 1 versus Gypsy King. Alright guys, I am so unbelievably excited to be back for this season. A couple weeks ago we got my draft analysis out, and today this will be the team builder for, team builder part. It's going to be all one video because that's how I roll. But for the first week of the 6th season of the National Pokeball League. So first off, just make sure, if you haven't, go subscribe to my boy Gypsy King. He puts out some fantastic content. He's been declared by many people to be the best draft style player out there, and more than that, he's a really entertaining YouTuber who puts a lot of work into his videos and who brings a very good thought process to his videos. So no matter your experience in the format, he's definitely someone to go check out. Even myself, I'm pretty much a solid veteran in the format, and I'm still learning things from him, and he puts a lot of time and energy into his videos, so make sure you go give him a check out. But yes, we played him 3 times last season. Oh boy, mumble jumble already. But we lost all 3 times. The only one of those that ended up really being consequential, of course, was the conference championship, which was a very close and well-played game, I think, on both parts, which pretty much came down to a couple of key turns. So I have a history with this man, and this time it's up with new teams. So you guys already know my team, and his team is Mega Gardevoir, Zapdos, Infernape, Dugtrio, Keldeo, Alolan Muck, Empoleon, Uxie, Shaman, Dragonite, and Golisopod. So you can see he definitely has a very threatening team, but I do have some Pokemon that can really take advantage of the specific Pokemon which he chose to draft. The first of those, and basically the first thing that I noticed in my team building, was that his electric immunity is Dugtrio, and his only other resist is Shaman, which really does open up the door for Thundurus T. Additionally, he doesn't have a ton of ways to knock out my Mega Venusaur. The only real reliable one is actually his Mega Gardevoir. Aside from that, he has other ways of hitting it super effectively. Something like a Bandit or Dragon Dance Dragonite could hit it very hard. Additionally, Golisopod can hit it pretty hard. The only other ones would be like Bandit Infernape or like an offensive expert-built Zapdos with Air Cutter. But pretty much aside from... Oh, and Air/Shaman too. So he has lots of coverage to hit it, but the thing is, Gardevoir is his only Pokemon that can get close to OHKOing it, and Gardevoir can't even OHKO it itself. So Mega Venusaur is looking like a really big defensive win con at Team Preview. And the other thing, just looking at Team Preview, that has a fantastic matchup is most certainly my Minior. His only source of priority, his only sources, are First Impression, Golisopod, which is not the most reliable and not something that I expect at all in the matchup. Mach Punch, Infernape, and Extreme Speed Dragonite. Now, Extreme Speed is obviously resisted by Golisopod. Mach Punch won't do a ton of damage, and Golisopod's First Impression is firstly resisted, and secondly not something I expect. So because of that, if I manage to kill one of his 2 priority users and get the situation right, Minior has the coverage to pretty much knock out his team once Uxie is weakened, with its standard moveset of Rock Move, Acrobatics, Earthquake, and Shell Smash, of course. So that's looking pretty cool. Other things on my team that could do some work, aside from Infernape and Keldeo, which obviously are 2 powerful Pokemon that he could bring against me, I actually think that my Weavile has a very good matchup. It outspeeds every single Pokemon on his team. Ice Shard priority is very helpful for a lot of things, especially that Dragonite. And yeah, so those are definitely the Pokemon that I'm looking at, just offensively and defensively versus his team. And aside from that, I think his biggest threats towards me are things like Mega Gardevoir. My only switch-in is Bronzong, and even then Mega Gardevoir is so powerful where if he predicts that with a Shadow Ball on the switch-in, even if I'm specially defensive, if he has Rocks up, that's not good for us. Other big threats are Infernape if it is a Life Orb or Choice Banded physical set, as that is able to 2-hit KO my Mega Venusaur most of the time. And the last one would definitely be that Dragonite. I am very scared of something like a weakness policy set that would be able to abuse its multi-scale if I'm not able to keep hazards up on his field. The one other thing about his team that is really nice in this matchup is that his only hazard removal is Zapdos. And Zapdos does not have a good matchup against my team. Its ability to get momentum is stalled fairly effectively by Thundurus T. He would be forced to run a U-turn. And Mega Venusaur just completely hard walls it. Clef hard walls it. It's killed by things like Minior and Weavile, so I really don't expect it to come, which means once I get rocks up, they're there to stay. That's something very important to consider in the matchup. But that's pretty much all I have to say in general about the matchup, so from then on, we can get straight into team building. Alright guys, we are here for the team preview versus Gypsy. Not team preview, what am I saying? Team kind of breakdown of what I decided to bring. So, as I was mentioning in the actual team preview and kind of preliminary analysis, I saw that Thundurus Therian had a very nice matchup with the fact that he did not have a reliable ground switch-in, given that his only ground switch-in was Dugtrio, and an extension upon that, Dugtrio just doesn't have a great matchup versus my team when I have things like Bronzong and Mega Venusaur and Thundurus. So, because it really can't hit Thundurus too hard, because Stone Edge coming off of Dugtrio is still weak as piss. Anyways, so yeah, I'm just running pretty much standard offensive Scarf. I'm running Volt Switch for that momentum because I don't predict him to bring any ground immunity. T-Bolt is there for like a late game sweep potentially. HP Ice is there because he has a Dragonite and I want to be able to revenge that. And Sludge Wave is there to A, hit the Shaman harder and the Mega Gardevoir harder. Additionally, I have this investment in between HP and defense allows me to live a banded or +1 adamant Dragonite extreme speed after Stealth Rock, which is a very important calc, as long as his multi-skill is broken, I'll be able to take him out with the HP Ice. So that's my Thundurus, just looking very nice offensively versus his team, and that's kind of the way I wanted to build this team, was that hopefully be able to maintain momentum, and maintain momentum with Thundurus T and also just Venusaur just kind of sitting on the field, wearing down his team, as it's very hard to kill, and trying to win the Hazard War. That's basically momentum, have Venusaur just sit there and wear down his team for the late game, and then win the Hazard War. Those are basically the three things that I'm looking at to do in this game. Next we have White Herb Minior with Shell Smash, Acrobatics, Earthquake, Stealth Rock, or what am I saying? Acrobatics, Earthquake, Rock Slide. I almost said Stealth Rock. I have no idea why. The reason that I have this specific speed investment, number one, at 148 speed with its improved speed, I'll be able to outspeed a Scarf Dugtrio, which is the fastest his team can get with anything without setup. Obviously that includes outspeeding a Dragonite at +1, not at +2, but at +1. So yes, so that is what that means. And additionally, at base 60 speed, it will be able to outspeed Keldeo. Yeah, when it's at base 60 speed, I think. Or maybe it's even a Scarf Keldeo. I don't know. I think it's just normal Keldeo. That'd be crazy for a Scarf Keldeo. But I don't really know. Pretty sure, yeah, normal Keldeo. It outspeeds normal Keldeo before, because I really didn't expect Dugtrio, so I was comfortable with that. And it just lets me put a decent amount in HP, which will let me take Mach Punches and extreme speeds much, much better. But again, like I mentioned in that team preview, I was really looking at Minior as a late game sweeper and a win con that I can look at throughout the game and use as basically, you know, I can just use Venusaur and my other Pokemon winning the Hazard War to wear down his team sufficiently to the point such that Minior can win the game for me. Next we have Mega Venusaur. Now this spread is a special thing that I concocted, as it basically means that with a Psychic move, Gardevoir will not be able to do more than about 75% to me, assuming that he is timid, and I do expect either a timid Gardevoir or a bulky Gardevoir, and if it was bulky, I wouldn't expect it to be max invested in offense. So, that is why I've chosen this spread. Additionally, it lets me take hits from like a Life Orb Infernape. It's a borderline 2-hit KO, and this lets me take things from Abandoned Infernape, stuff like that better, as well as like Gunk Shots from an offensive Muck. I want to be able to take those pretty well, as this is as my only real switch into Muck, which is actually a pretty sizable threat to my team, something that I do think he will bring against me for sure. But with the Leech Seed, my goal with this is just to wear down his team as much as I can. Sludge Bomb is there for my general stab, which hits most of his team effectively, and then HP Ice. That way, after Stealth Rock, I can do a lot to that Dragonite. I won't be able, without any special attack investment, I probably won't be able to just take it out after rocks, but it will make it so my Venusaur will not be able to get 2 Dragon Dances up on my Mega Venusaur, and as long as he's only able to get up 1 Dragon Dance, and as long as my Thundurus T is not weakened, then Thundy T can come in and revenge the Dragonite, so that's the reason for that there. Now next, I want to be able to try to keep rocks off of my field because I have 3 rock weak Mons that are all important to me winning this game, and so I'm running max speed Tentacruel with max HP. The max HP is there so I can take hits from Infernape as effectively as possible, and the max speed is there such that I can speed tie with his Gardevoir, or in fact, hopefully outspeed it. And the reasoning I'm saying that is because in all my mock battles, I did not see 1 max speed Gardevoir. So I'm hoping that he won't bring max speed Gardevoir, and that I'll be able to outspeed it and either get a Rapid Spin off, or if it's weakened, do about 50% with Sludge Bomb. And between Mega Venusaur's Sludge Bomb and Tentacruel's Sludge Bomb, it should be able to be knocked out. So that's another cool thing. If that comes up, and that has come up in some of my practice battles. But that's pretty much it. Keep hazards out the field. Additionally, max speed's nice because like it'll let me outspeed things like Dragonite and just take him out with Ice Beams after Stealth Rock and stuff like that. And then next we have our Stealth Rocker, which is my Bronzong Max Spadef because Gardevoir's scary as fuck. We have a Gyro Ball, which does a hell of a lot, just straight OHKOs it as long as I don't get burned. Stealth Rock because that's important versus his team. HP Ice because I want to be able to do a lot to Dragonite again. And Earthquake to hit things like Alolan Muck, and when they try to switch in on me, and additionally to hit Infernape super effectively. I would run Zen Headbutt just to hit Infernape, but again, Alolan Muck, that's why Earthquake is more effective. Basically, this thing's job, try to keep Gardevoir in check as long as possible, and get my Stealth Rocks up, and hopefully my Stealth Rocks are there to stay. Now, my last Pokemon is an Icicle Plate Weavile. Now, this again is a specialized spread. And this spread lets me, spread is basically optimized to do as much damage as possible to his Gardevoir with the Icicle Crash, without wearing me down with Life Orb. And the reason that I don't want Life Orb is because I have this defense investment right here, and this defense investment puts me at the same benchmark that my Thundurus T does. +1 Dragonite cannot take me out. Ice Shard, boom, it drops down. So that is my plan with Weavile to help keep that in check. I'm running Aerial Ace for both the Infernape and the Keldeo. It'll be able to 2-hit KO them, and even though being adamant, I still have the speed such that I'm able to outspeed both the Keldeo and the Infernape if they are max speed, jolly, timid, whatever. So that's the reasoning for that. Knock off to hit things like Uxie and be a general good stab, obviously, and I already mentioned where I have the other moves. Just pretty, standard, straightforward stuff. But overall, I am very happy with this team. It's done very well in my tests. Definitely one of the teams that I've put the most thought and hard work into in all of my draft experience. Is a game that I desperately want to win, as this league is very difficult. So every single win is vastly important, and additionally because I really want to get my revenge for all 3 of those ass kickings that I got last season. So that's why all this is here. Hoping it goes well, and I will see you guys in the battle for the narration. Alright guys, here we are. We are back for the battle. So just immediately my thoughts looking at his team, things that surprised me: Golisopod, no Alolan Muck. That's pretty much it. I didn't expect things like Keldeo because I had a Tentacruel, Mega Venusaur, and Clefable. There is actually a really one Keldeo set that I'm not going to say, because if for somehow we make it to the championship against each other, I don't want to see it, but it was kind of scary, but it's okay, because it's not there. So, yeah, besides that, everything pretty much that I expected. Shaman could have been replaced by Alolan Muck, I think. maybe, but, you know, nothing that I'm concerned about at all, and this is definitely the most happy. Galissapod's there, which I didn't prep for Galissapod, because I'm like, it's a Galissapod, it's not going to come, you know? But it came, so we're going to have to deal with that. Anyway, no ground type, you know what I'm leading off with. We're just going to lead off straight with my Thundy T, and I'm going to go straight for a Volt Switch turn 1. Now, the nice thing is that damage, 22.4%. Looking at the calculators, that tells me it is fully specially defensive. Now, what that means is that I need a lot less not a ton, but quite a bit less damage. Actually, it's almost the range where I need it, such that Minior can take it out with a +2 acrobatics. So that's looking pretty nice, if I do say so myself. But anyways, he just gets up his Stealth Rocks turn 1. It makes sense. I go to my Bronzong. You know what I'm clicking? He has no hazard removal. I only have Rapid Spin, not Defog. Stealth Rock is my best play. Now, right here, I do some calcs. I'm like, even if this thing's banded, my best play is Mega Venusaur. And here is where something else comes in. I am so happy, for the love of God, that I put 8 EVs in speed in Mega Venusaur, because it allows me to 100% outspeed this no matter what. 4 EVs even would have been sufficient. But if I had ran no speed Mega Venusaur, this might have been a speed type, but I think he was adamant anyway, so I'm pretty sure actually he was. So it really wouldn't have been a big deal. But just like for playing the game, it made this a safe play, where I take a lot from that first impression because I haven't Mega Evolved yet, but I go and I just synthesis on up. Now he switches into his Gardevoir. Offensive play makes sense. Now here's the thing. I really considered staying in here. Kind of wish I had. I knew the Bronzong was the most obvious play in the world. But I was like, you know what? Sacking my Bronzong at this point is safer than him just going for Psychic and taking him a Mega Venusaur, because it is so potent against his team. Now, he does make the play, go for Shadow Ball. It's a clean 2-hit KO. It's unfortunate. But now, right here, I'm really in a bind, because I actually don't have anything that can for sure OHKO this thing. But I decided my best play is to go into my Weavile, because Weavile most likely cannot actually take this out. But what I'm thinking in my head here is that he has no idea what set I am. I could be Life Orb with Poison Jab, I could be Choice Banded, at which point I would certainly take it out. So going to Weavile, forcing the switch, was definitely my best play, I thought. So I go straight on to Weavile, and I click Icicle Crash. And he switches in his Shaman here. I don't know, it wasn't going to do a lot versus my team. It's a fine play, I guess. Yeah. So he does that. I have very little for Infernape, so I just go straight to my Tentacruel. He makes the U-turn play, which is very safe. Now, from that damage, he is almost certainly Choice Banded. He actually is certainly Choice Banded, because that. And now right here, I go for Rapid Spin, because it would have taken so much pressure off of my Weavile and Thundy T, but he wins the speed tie and takes me out with the Psychic, which is super unfortunate. So, that sucks. Yeah, puts me in a little bit of a bind. I'm definitely losing at this point. But now that he's taken that second round of Psychic, or Stealth Rock, I now can go into my Weavile. Now, after switching into my Weavile, I knew immediately that that was the best play. What was contentious here was whether or not I click Aerial Ace, predicting the Infernape to come in. I thought about it for a solid 2 minutes. And then I just decided I'm going to click Icicle Crash, and he stays in. I hit the Icicle Crash, Mega Gardevoir's down, and now I'm feeling much better. Now, right here, he goes out into this. I don't have a safe switch in at this point. Actually, I had a fairly safe switch in Mega Venusaur. I probably should have gone into it, but at this point, since my Weavile has taken already 2 Stealth Rock switch-ins, if I switched in again, then obviously it'd be like 26%. It would easily be in E-speed range. Infernape, you know, doesn't outspeed it, but it can do a lot. It can take it out. I can't kill Galissapod with it yet, and it does have the first impression every time it comes in, as well as the fact that I can't OHKO Uxie because I'm Icicle Plate. So I decided to sack it. Maybe it wasn't the best play, but I think it was. I don't know. But anyway, I go into Mega Venusaur here, and I just click Leech Seed. The other thing it risked was a crit with First Impression, which would have just ended my life. That would have been game right there, so... yeah, but I just Synthesis up, making sure I get to full health, and he brings in his Uxie now. Unless he has Thunder Wave here, as you can see, he's literally going to be able to do 0 to me. And I'm just going to get up my seeds. I'm going to start spamming Sludge Bomb on him to wear him down as much as possible, because after this is dead, look at his team, look at Thundy T. That is right, that is what I like. If I get any damage off on that Dragonite, Thundurus T absolutely sweeps his team. So, that is my game plan here. I Synthesis up as he crits me with a Psychic. Really glad I Synthesis there. It was really the only play because it was a 2KO anyway. But anyways, after my next Synthesis, this is where the fact that he's faster is actually really nice. And then my Leech Seed recovery, as well as the fact that I got the poison with the Sludge Bomb. I'm going to be able to take out his Uxie. So Venusaur, just 1v1 Psychic type. That's really nice. Now right here, he goes into his Fernape, and I'm looking at this, and I'm like, I can take any one hit, and if he goes for Flare Blitz, which is the only thing that can 2-hit KO me, then he should be in range of his Sludge Bomb. So that's what I do. I take a lot. I could have Synthesis stalled, but the thing was, I really should have. That was actually my best play. I made a misplay here. I'm just going to say that, because I didn't calc the damage on the Tentacle at the time, and I really should have done that, because that would have revealed that he was certainly Choice Banded. Knowing that he was Choice Banded, and knowing that he was Choice Banded, I should have just clicked Synthesis, stalled him out, made him kill himself. It would have put me in the best possible position to win the game. But that would have risked a crit, kind of, like a double crit would have killed me. A Flare Blitz burn would have been bad. Probably still should have done it, but you know what? What happened happens. He brings in his Golisopod because, here's the thing. It was definitely the right play, because it would have more likely, it would have been giving me a higher chance of being out of range of his Golisopod's First Impression. Now, he unfortunately gets one of the 3 lowest rolls possible on his Golisopod at this point. Which is hacks, but I mean, it's rolls. There's nothing that I could do about it. I think that, and I'll explain actually right now what I think, how I would have been able to win the game regardless. And that's, so say he had killed me right here, his Golisopod would be at 21%, and I would have been able to go straight out into my Minior. Now, my Minior, I don't know if it would have been able to outspeed the Golisopod straight up, but here's my series of plays. If I go to Minior and I click Rock Slide, I would not set up here. Setting up would not have been the wisest play. If I just click Rock Slide, number 1, he cannot take me out with a Life Orb Aqua Jet from this range unless he gets a max roll, which is just as much hacks as me living that. And 2, his only other play then would have been to switch out into his Dragonite. If he did such a thing, then his Dragonite would have taken about 50% from the Rock Slide. Remember, Minior does have that lower attack when it is in its shield form. From then on, after he took that damage, then I would be able to, he would have to lock himself into Iron Head, because he was banded Dragonite. He would have had to lock himself into Iron Head to take out my, or Iron Head, or Outrage would be the other thing, but Outrage wouldn't let him switch. Now, if he locked himself into Iron Head, then he took out my Minior, then I would be able to go into Thundurus T. Then he would have to make a decision, sack Golisopod or sack Dragonite. At that point, sacking Golisopod would have been the best play. He would have gone out to Dragonite, and he would have been able to Extreme Speed me. He was banded Adamant Extreme Speed. But if you remember in my team building video, I did have the proper EV spread to guaranteed, barring a crit, take no more than 74.4% or 74.7% from a banded Extreme Speed Dragonite. So unless he got the crit right there, I would have taken him out with the Thundurus, claiming a 1-0 victory. So, obviously, that long contingent series of events that if you somehow kept that all in your head, then that makes sense. Then that would have been, you know, still in my favor, at least in the way that I view it. But that is going to be the game as my HP Ice. We'll take him down, obviously, into T-Bolt range. I'm going to go into my Thundurus T, click Thunderbolt twice, and that's going to be the game. So, I do apologize for that roll, as it was a low roll. But But again, as I explained, I'm pretty sure that I had the game no matter what because of my Thunderous' spread. And even if I didn't have that spread, he would have had to get just as high of a roll on me as I did, as he got a low roll on my Mega Venusaur. So that is the game. I'm able to defeat the King 2-0, a very close and intense match to start off NPL Season 6 on the right foot. I was surprisingly comfortable with this team. None of these Pokemon are Pokemon that I've had in the NPL before. I've used several of them in other leagues or small tournaments and such, and obviously in like standard play, but yeah, but it worked out. I'm feeling good about this season, and next week we actually take on Pokegame, MD, and the Bronx Beartics. So, with that said, make sure you go check out Gypsy's channel if you haven't. Make sure you go check out the NPL channel as well as our graphics editors channels. Those will all be in the description below. But aside from that, I'm Togavor, you're yourself. Stay tuned for next week against Pokegame. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!